I heard, I think one of the daftest things I heard during Donald Trump's state visit. Well, do you remember on Friday we were mapping the right wing's attempts? The same mouthpieces, actually, that today are just parroting Hamas propaganda. It's extraordinary, really. But the same people were trying to portray Keir Starmer as having been, embarrassed by Donald Trump. So what you do, you take a self-confessed sex offender who's a multiple felon, who tried to launch a coup against his own government after losing an election that he continues to lie about. A man who's been accused of rape on many occasions, including by one of his former wives, and who continues to lie as if it is going out of fashion. So here is he, who we are sadly, as a country, reduced to having to suck up to, because such is his power, such is the power of his role. And then on the other hand, you've got Keir Starmer, former Director of Public Prosecutions, who has not set the world on fire as Labour leader, but who has not done any of the things that you don't even need to go there, do you? And I heard people saying, oh, Donald Trump looks like a leader and Keir Starmer looks like a lawyer. And you found yourself thinking, do these people inhabit an alternative universe? So it's not even that they're pretending that the crimes don't matter, the self-confessed sex offending doesn't matter, the suing a woman for libel who accused him of rape and losing doesn't matter, the launching the seditionists and the insurrectionists onto the Capitol in D.C. who were baying for the blood of his own vice president doesn't matter, continuing to lie about the 2020 election result doesn't matter. I mean, I understand how much effort you must put into keeping your eyes closed and your ears blocked if you're pretending that Donald Trump is anything other than a depraved, delinquent menace. But to end up claiming that his public performances are somehow impressive and imbued with a sense of leadership is beyond parody now. It's beyond funny. And it is the same people, isn't it? The people that brought you Brexit, the people that brought you Boris Johnson, the people who've brought you genocide in the Middle East, who are today parroting Hamas propaganda lines, the people who brought you Liz Truss, the people who brought you all of the bad stuff are also the people who, in a way, bring you praise for Donald Trump if they think it's a way of attacking Keir Starmer. So I played you a little clip last week when he was at Chequers. And just imagine for a moment that Joe Biden had got his countries mixed up. So I should tell you that there has been a conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia for many years, which is now happily in a period of peace. And here is Donald Trump talking about his role in bringing peace to Azerbaijan and Armenia.
To think that we settled Azerbaijan and Albania, as an example, it was going on for years. It was never going to be settled. If you remember, the Prime Minister and the presidents, they were there for many years. They said, when they were in my office, we settled. And they started off at both sides of the Oval Office, so far away. I didn't know you could be so far away. And as we were together for an hour, they kept getting closer. And by the time we finished, we all hugged each other.
So that's it. Great. He's a leader, not a lawyer. Happily, at the American Cornerstone Institute Founders Dinner this weekend, he was able to set the record straight about that conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia.
And now they're sitting in my office, and they're at the Oval Office. It's pretty wide. And they had one over here, one over there. And slowly, over the course of about an hour, they came close. And at the end of an hour, we were hugging each other and holding hands. It was an amazing thing, and we settled that war. That was not settleable, as the expression goes. Cambodia and Armenia, it was just starting, and it was a bad one. Think of that.
Cambodia and Armenia. Also, I'm going to play that one again, because that's not an expression, is it? They said it was not settleable, as the expression goes. Who here hasn't heard that expression before? I mean, it's up there with a Rolling Stone gathers no moss, isn't it? Or a stitch in time saves nine. Unsettleable, as the expression goes. It's a bit like saying, as the expression goes. But you'd have thought somebody might have had a word with him after he got Albania and Armenia mixed up next week. Perhaps that someone did. They said it could have been worse. You could have said Cambodia.
And now they're sitting in my office, and they're at the Oval Office. It's pretty wide. And they had one over here, one over there. And slowly, over the course of about an hour, they came close. And at the end of an hour, we were hugging each other and holding hands. It was an amazing thing, and we settled that war. That was not settleable, as the expression goes. Cambodia and Armenia, it was just starting, and it was a bad one. Think of that.
I think he says, as the expression goes, when he's worried he might have just made up a word. Doesn't he? So that's an extraordinary level of insecurity and narcissism. So he's just about bright enough to realise that he might have just made up a word. And rather than be embarrassed by it, he'll pretend it's a very well-known word. So that's why he says, not settleable, as the expression goes. I mean, how many times would a word have to be used in common parlance to qualify as a well-known expression? More than once, I'd have thought, regardless of what your politics are. But anyway, at least he took the opportunity of a memorial to the murdered conservative activist Charlie Kirk to step back from his previous attempts to make political capital out of it and to resist calls for more unity, or to try to use it as an opportunity to improve political discourse in a country where, of course, many acts of political violence have been undertaken by his supporters, and where, of course, the biggest act of political violence, mass act of political violence that we've seen in recent years, was inspired entirely by him on January the 6th. So fair play to him for being a lot more committed to calming things down than he had been previously.
He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erika. But now Erika can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
Okay. Oh, what a lovely tribute that was. To a man whose death was possibly a consequence of, well, probably, I think you can say, a consequence of of his politics, albeit that despite the desperate attempts of Trump and his allies, there has still been no particular success in proving commitment to a particular cause. That's just horrible, actually. Absolutely. But anyway, he's a leader, remember. No, not a flipping lawyer. Who wants a lawyer? You can have a leader like that talking about how much he hates people at a memorial service for somebody who appears to have been a victim of hate.